It's a beautiful day in the strongest battlegrounds. Birds are singing, flowers are blooming, everybody is enjoying themselves. The strongest battlegrounds is home to many wild and wacky creatures. Teamers, noobs, sweats, and everything in between. All of these unique players share one thing in common. They come to the strongest battlegrounds solely to have fun fighting. However, there exists one type of player who differs from the rest. This type of player is notorious both for their play style and the reason they enjoy playing the strongest battlegrounds. Of course, and you probably already guessed it, the type of player I am referring to is a Sonic player.
Thank you, Dave. From now on, Dave will be doing some of the voiceovers on these videos, typically the parts that involve talking about players like wildlife, kinda like this guy. Before we go into detail on why everyone hates Sonic, we'll first need to discuss the Sonic player's backstory. I'll let Dave explain this one.
Okay, well, it will probably help if I picture this for you. It all started a long time ago. In the strongest battlegrounds, there is essentially a food chain among the players, similar to how life functions in the wild in real life. For example, laggy new players are at the very bottom of this hierarchy. These players are preyed upon by every predator-type creature in the strongest battlegrounds. After laggy new players, it is followed by just normal new players. These players can actually afford to play on something that isn't a microwave. Then the hierarchy is followed by intermediate players who prey on noobs, then sweats, teamers, etc. I think you get the gist of it. But now you're probably wondering, how does all of that have any relevancy to the backstory of a Sonic player? Well, among the social hierarchy of the strongest battlegrounds, there is one secret type of player, which, as you now know, is a Sonic player. Now, this type of player is neither predator nor prey. You see, the Sonic players have a completely separate hierarchy of their own. They can be split into 4 categories. The first one is controller players and new players, who for some reason seem to take a liking to this character. There really isn't anything wrong with this category, but in the Sonic player hierarchy, they are by far the lowest ranking. Next in the Sonic player hierarchy are the players who play Sonic specifically to counter you. Typically, these players will switch to Sonic when they struggle to kill you. This is because Sonic as a character is very broken, which this video will discuss a little later, by the way. These types of players also really aren't anything special and are few and far between, although these players only really switch to Sonic out of anger or annoyance. These emotions are a key aspect of the last 2 categories of Sonic players and why they play Sonic. In the third category, a very well-known stereotype in the strongest battlegrounds, the runner. Now, these players don't play Sonic just because they think he's cool or easy to use or whatever. They use him because it makes them almost impossible to kill. You see, Sonic's moveset is a very mobile one. You can even see for yourself how annoying it is here if you're interested, where Yoked spent a large majority of the video running as a Sonic player, like a little rat. When people fight runners, though, it often makes them annoyed or angry. The Sonic runners count on this because when people are annoyed or angry, they lose composure, and it makes them play worse, which makes them easier to kill or to run from. Not only that, but some of them just enjoy being chased and being annoying. The fourth type of Sonic player, as I'm sure most of you are already familiar with too, a kill stealer. Whoops, I think I put the wrong image. That's better. Anyway, kill stealers are notorious specifically because their enjoyment out of the strongest battlegrounds is not by fighting others, it's by ruining others' fun. The worst part about this hierarchy is that the last two categories can intertwine with each other. Runners can also be kill stealers, and vice versa. However, it wasn't always like this. Everything changed on April 30th, 2023. This is the day Sonic was added to the game. Prior to this update, everybody was enjoying themselves on what seemed to be a new and innovative game on Roblox. There were no negative stereotypes at this time. Videos like these started sprouting, and the game started to grow in popularity. The game at this point was already quite popular, but the numbers were small compared to what they are today. Naturally, at this time, people were already skeptical on if this character would be overpowered or not. I'll give you a hint. It was. And to this day, it still is. This is when the strongest battlegrounds changed forever. After about a week since the character was launched, many people started to hate it. All of this because of two moves: Flash Strike and Scatter. Both of these moves allow Sonic users to do something that most of the other characters can't: zoning. Essentially, zoning is a mix of running and attacking. The premise is that the person zoning hits but doesn't get hit back. Usually, zoners will rely on people chasing them to effectively zone, and it usually works because most people will chase you to the ends of the earth.
I'll chase you to the ends of the earth!
This playstyle works particularly well with characters such as Sonic or Genos, who excel at running and have multiple abilities that can keep their distance from enemies. Most people absolutely hate this playstyle because the only real counterplay to it is to either team or to not attack them at all. This playstyle essentially strips the fun out of the game for the Sonic players' victims, resulting in fewer players who actually enjoy the strongest battlegrounds, and thus fewer players playing the game. This makes it seem like toxic players are much more common than they really are, when in reality, people just end up quitting because of players like these. The hate for this character only continued when his fourth move, Exploding Shuriken, was added to the game. Yet another move which can be used for effective zoning. At this point, the character in and of itself became a stereotype that a lot of people looked down upon. Insults such as no skill or spammer became much more widespread at this stage, and the character hadn't even got any ultimate moves yet. Talking of his ult, that's another thing worth mentioning. Arguably one of the strongest movesets in the game, his ultimate moveset has it all. Dueling power, gap closing, area of effect damage, mobility. It's probably the most stacked moveset in the game. All other ultimate movesets have some kind of downside, where the only downside to Sonic's is probably his cooldowns, which is generally a minor inconvenience when you look at what his ultimate is capable of. Like, you can quite literally run at someone from halfway across the map and kill them with a one-shot ult combo. The only real counterplay to this is death counter. And with that, pretty much concludes why everybody hates Sonic. I'll do the outro today, so I thank all of you for watching to the end. If you like this content, please consider liking or subscribing, as you can always change your mind later, as it really helps out the channel. I hope to see you next time. See ya!